Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today is going to be the culmination of what has come to me to be a rabbit hole. I've just gone a little bit crazy or stupid, if you will, in terms of taking and upgrade parts that I've received as a parts lot, and just deciding that something wasn't good enough and just kept going to the point now where I'm ready to do the accurate side plate conversion of a 4.0 high-speed Senator, and that's what we're going to show you here, as well as tell you about that rabbit hole that I went down. Well, if you like videos on fishing wheel service and repair, if you like to learn things about how they're made and sometimes how to hot rod them like this one, and how to keep them maintained or give them a second chance, then I would encourage you to subscribe to my channel. If you do subscribe to my channel, I do recommend that you use that notification button. That notification button will let you know when I'm posting the videos, and well, you can take a look and see if those are ones that you would like to watch. Well, let's talk a little bit about what started all of this and then where we go from there. So what started this was I bought a parts lot, and included in the parts lot was the accurate plates. They're made by Accurate. It's not an accurate reel, it's the plates themselves. It's for a conversion for a 4.0 Senator. And well, when I got it, it came just like that as part of the parts lot. The fella said at one point he was going to do one, and then, well, he wasn't going to do one. And if I wanted to pick up where he left off with his dream, I was welcome to do that. Well, I ran out and I found one of the 4.0 Senators. That's what kind of is left over here. And, well, it was in pretty tough shape. Had a lot of corrosion on it and that. I decided I would use the gear set for that, for the conversion. And then I found out, well, the gear set's worn. You've got pulling back and forth on that gear sleeve there, which wasn't going to work for me. So off I went. I decided I was going to get a gear set, which just arrived the other day from Mr. Parts. Now I have a new gear set, or a bridge rather, bridge and gear sleeve here. That will take that out of the way. And then I thought, well, last time I did the other reel, I had new drag washers, but I didn't have new metals. So of course that made sense to go get the new metals. And then I was going to put it all together, and I looked at the spool and said, you know, I got all new parts in here except for this spool, which has got a lot of corrosion damage in that. So why wouldn't I want to take the next step and get the replacement spool? So quite the rabbit hole. What's going to wind up being original about this reel will be the main gear, the yoke, and the pinion gear, and everything else will be new, essentially, inside that reel. But that's okay, because the value on a reel like this is going to surpass the cost of the parts, and given that I got a relatively inexpensive frame by way of that parts lot purchase, it just made a lot of sense. And oh, by the way, did I mention I'm going to upgrade the handle? I went and I got the Gomexus handle for this as well. So this should really be a very sweet looking reel by the time it's all done, and that's what we're going to take you through today, how to go about changing this over, making this conversion, and hopefully having one sweet reel when it's done. The Accurate frame is made by Accurate. It's the same folks that make the Accurate reels, except that it's a conversion kit, just sort of like the Cortez conversion kits that are available for similar projects. I just put a little bit of grease on there. I have replaced the bearing. I'm sorry, the bearing in this one came with the frame. So whoever had the reel had that frame piece there. So we're all good there. We're just going to put that spool inside there. We'll show you how to build up the inside of this. I did already replace the eccentric and the free spool release. As I mentioned, I put it together and found out that the bridge, well, had too much slop in it for a project like this. And I did replace the bearing, the drag washers in there. So let's do what we can do here to make this work. The first thing is to put a washer onto the bottom of that gear sleeve. and we purchased a new one of those. Slide that down. And then I'm going to eliminate the metals that we had. I did notice that there was some pitting and things going on there. This is a 5-washer set. The main gear gets a little bit of grease. It had grease on it before, so I wouldn't put too much more on that. Again, I discovered that the play in that bridge, unfortunately, was after I was doing some of the work here. So let's put the main gear on. Now we have a 5-washer drag set, and we have a new set of metals. And we will alternate the metals with the drag set. We have 2 of the eared washers, 3 of the keyed washers, and 1 thick top washer there. Now it's optional whether you put the grease onto the drag washers. These are brandy new. We're just going to insert them. The first one in is a keyed washer without the ears. The second one in is the eared. And we alternate back. We go back to one that does not have the ears. Bring the next washer in, and then we bring the eared washer, which is, you got to watch these when you go to reinstall, because it's flush with the top, and sometimes if you tilt the piece out, you wind up with an eared washer outside of the channel, and when that happens, you have an issue there with reinstalling and having the drags work properly. Then we have the cap washer, and then we can install that. So before we do that, let's get these other pieces off the table here. Let's go to a parts tray where I've been storing all these pieces and parts, and go get the yokes and springs and set this internal side up now. So there are 2 springs that fit in the cavity here for the yoke, one on each side. One of the things you will notice about this side plate is that the internal bearing, which I put in, is not in the bearing cap. There is a bearing cap on the red version of this reel that comes through the cap, or through the side plate. On this version, you have a solid side plate anchor, so you remove the bearing from the cap when you go to install this. Again, I've checked and I've cleaned these gears once before, so we're just going to put some grease onto that. You can wipe off the yoke again. Grease the yoke. The yoke fits in the slot of the pinion gear, and the slot in the pinion gear faces outward to accept the spool. Press down on that, bring your jack over, hook that onto the eccentric, make sure that the jack sits with that groove centered on that stud that sticks out. Next we can install the bridge. Press down on the yoke, bring the assembly in, and again be careful with that drag stack assembly, because that eared washer can sometimes fall out. With it mounted a half position, take a fully threaded bridge plate screw, place that in that lower corner, then mount your anti-reverse dog so that you create the little cavity right here for the spring, and then your dog spring mounts in that slot. Be careful, you can shoot this spring. But that's how it mounts, right in that little cavity there. And then rotate your bridge around. Make sure your pinion gear comes through the hole in the bridge. And then tighten down that screw, but don't tighten it all the way. Just get it started, because now we want to put the screws on the other positions. The half screw goes up top on the other side. That's so that your springs slide smoothly there. Another partially threaded screw comes on this side. goes through the other spring. Then we have a fully threaded screw goes on the bottom here. Now you can tighten them all down. Next up, we'll bring in the collar or the spacer for the gear sleeve. Then we have two of these tension washers. One goes below, one goes above. For your handle. You know what, I'm going to leave that off for a moment. I'm going to put the, well, I can't leave that off with this. All right. Put the star adjuster on. So this is one of about 3 pieces. It's actually original to the other reel. We have the star adjuster. We have the lever for the free spool release and the eccentric. Okay, I'm going to leave that as it is. Come back over here and let's install the side plate on the reel before we go any further. I guess if you wanted to, you could give this a quick spin, make sure that everything is working the way it should. You can also put a little bit of grease on through the shoulder of the jack, where you couldn't put that on before. Okay, we're going to take our side plate then and load that on. Going to center that, and then I have the harness lug, which I want to work that in here as well. Take our top plate screw. And just like the other ones, we're not going to tighten this fully down. We're only going to tighten it to kind of keep it holding. This is always a hard one. And if I don't get much success in getting this started, I'm going to hold that in place and put one over here where I have a better view of the hole there. Slippery little side plate. Once you get the first one in, it's good. There we go. All right, don't tighten them all the way, just use them to anchor the others. We're going to do one on this side here. It's going to be a beautiful looking reel. It should be a beautiful performing reel as well when we get done with this. This takes a little bit of patience to get these screws started. So Accurate, surprised I got the invoice from them. I always thought it was Accurate Reel Company, but it actually came, the invoice came as Accurate Grinding Company. They're out in California. I've used them to support parts. And you can go onto the Accurate website and get parts if you have an Accurate reel that needs parts. I was just trying to get a click assembly for a Boss Fury that I had to replace the clicker, which was worn. All right, we're just going to fill in the rest of these screws now, and this is a good time to mention if you have any questions on this reel or any reel. Maybe you're working on one and it's stuck. Maybe you're thinking about upgrading one. Whatever the question may be, if you leave that question in the comment section, I do try to answer those for the viewers, and I do try to answer those in the morning. So if you're leaving one in the evening, check back around 10 or 11 o'clock Eastern Time the following morning, and hopefully you'll have an answer from me there if I know the answer. Okay, we're going to do a couple more of these. I don't know where you can buy this Accurate frame. If you're asking that question, I don't know. I bought it as a parts lot. Actually, I traded it as a parts lot. Some of you may have seen that video. I did a trade of an upper end reel for a bunch of parts. A fellow who was in the parts and repair business, since stopped doing that in retirement. All right, last one of these, and we'll just make sure all these screws are tightened down, and we'll keep moving along. This is looking good. So I went down the rabbit hole. Everything on this reel essentially is new or replaced. with the exception of that the main gear, the pinion gear, the free spool lever and eccentric, and the star adjuster. So I don't know what got me there, but I got there. All right, next up we're going to put this Gomexus handle on. Gomexus makes some beautiful aftermarket handles for Penn and other reels. They're generally plug and play pieces. This one has yeah, I was hoping for that. There's two different types of cap nuts for a Penn Senator 4.0. One of them is a screw, and one of those is a cap. And Gomexus includes both of those in case you have one that, or not in case, so it's so that you can match yours to that. All right, I'm going to put it on the lower piece of this. I think I need that washer there. I'm going to use the one that fits my reel, which is the screw. Tighten down the drag before you tighten down the button. You could use that little washer there as a backup washer so that you don't over tighten the fitting when you're backing off the drag. This invariably happens that the one that you need is not the one that you grab, but there you go, 12 millimeter nut. And we want to align that scallop so that we can put our set screw in there. And I need to shut the camera off for a moment, get the little set screw. It's in here. It's in this one. There you go. Just as I was ready to panic, I thought I might need to reuse the old one, and the set screw is in here. Very good. That's a good thing that I checked in there, because that's a different screw than the set screw that comes with the reel. Once you get it started, finish it off. And we should be able to get this a test. I can already say it's a very nice looking reel. When I ordered from Gomexus, I ordered the silver handle because I knew I had the chrome plating on the star adjuster and the free spool and the harness lug, so I wanted to match up to that. Well, here we have it. We have an accurate plates conversion kit for the Penn Senator High Speed 4.0. We showed you basically it's a new reel now. Few carryover parts, very attractive, and let's see what we can do. We're in free spool. Let's check that spool. Oh, that just rides beautifully on those two bearings. Let's go into gear. Oh, that's sweet. That is sweet. You can hardly even tell that you're turning the reel. Drags are holding nicely. Big leveraged handle. A nice conversion overall. Well, I'm happy with that. I went down a rabbit hole. I bought pretty much all new parts, but this is some kind of conversion, and well, it's going to make somebody who likes to fish deep sea 4.0 Senators proud to own it, and even more proud to fish with it. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's been fun. It's kind of been a weird turn because I don't normally do these things, but when the opportunity presented itself because of the plate finds, I thought I would take advantage of it, and I'm very happy with the results. Before I leave, I want to thank our first responders, our police, fire, safety, rescue, and everybody involved in keeping us out of harm's way. And I want to thank all the viewers for watching, for contributing, for the comments that they make and the suggestions. They're always appreciated. I'm always trying to improve the output of this channel, and I appreciate everything that you send forward. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, wishing everybody a great day on the water and fun fishing.